Everybody, it's Mr. Pouts. Going to go through a little homework help video here for page 231 and 232. This is from lesson 22, day 3. So this is a read and write. We're continuing to talk about similar triangles. So if you remember similar triangles, those are those triangles that have the same shape, different size. However, there are some other things that we know about them. So same shape, different size. But here we go. Angles. Angles we've talked about. Angles are all going to be the same if they're similar shapes. So the angles should be the same. And that's one of the big things we've been talking about. We also talked just briefly yesterday and now in today's lesson about how the side lengths are proportional, meaning there's a ratio that you can write that would be like if one side is 2 and the other one is 3 for the other shape, all the sides should be in that same ratio. Like for instance, if you have a side length that is 6, well, I had to multiply by 3 here. It's 3 times the size. So this should be 9, 6 to 9. It's the same ratio. Okay? So that's just an example. So why don't we take a look at the example here on page 231. We're going to go through this one together, and I'll get you started on the one on page 232. So let's read this through. It's good to read it through and understand where they're coming from here first. So right here, in the diagram below, so right here, in the diagram below, triangle ABC represents Paulo's triangular vegetable garden. So that's kind of right here. All right. Roseanne wants to plant a garden that is similar to Paulo's garden. The ratio of the side lengths of Roseanne's garden to the side lengths of Paula's garden is 2 to 3. Meaning if I were to write the ratio, I'm saying all hers would be 2, his would be 3. So if I look at that, and I can look at the pictures too, Paulo's is bigger. Roseanne's should be smaller. Hers is the 2, his is the 3. It's always 2 to 3. Always 2 to 3. It could be 4 to 6, but that's still the same as 2 to 3. So draw a triangle DEF to represent Roseanne's garden. Explain how you found the side lengths of DEF. Find the length of the shortest side of Roseanne's garden if the shortest side of Paulo's garden is 16 feet. Okay, so this is where it gets, the 16 feet, that part gets a little tricky, but we're going to talk this through. I've got the ratio written there. Here's what they did for a possible answer. And it's going to all come from, I would say, figuring out these side lengths first. So let's just say we have this green side length matches up with this green side length over here. But the one over here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the top one, so I'll do in red, I believe is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? Now the nice thing about that is they're both multiples of 3. So to figure out his side length, if it's 3 to 2, so I'm going to say, or 2 to 3, for Roseanne's garden, if it's 2 to 3, and I know that Paulo's, let's just say we're going to go with the left side, is 6, I need to figure out what would be the length of Roseanne's garden that would go along with that 6. So I actually set up a proportion, and you can cross multiply. That's one way you can do it. Let's change back to black here. You could cross multiply and say we have 3x equals 2 times 6. Which is 12. So I would have 3x equals 12. And then I divide both sides by 3 to get x is 4. Now, that's one way that I did it, but I wanted to show you that way because that's one way to do it. So this side length should be 4, and actually it is. So we know it's 4. It doesn't really matter where it is right now. We just know that that should be a side length of 4. Now let's read through how they went about it here. It says the possible ratio, or the ratio of the side lengths of Roseanne's garden to the side lengths of Paulo's garden is less than 1. So it's 2 over 3. So the sides of triangle DEF, which is Roseanne's garden, should be shorter than the sides of triangle ABC, which is Paulo's garden. I can count the squares to find the lengths of ABC. So AB we said was 6, and BC we said is 9. That I wrote on the graph here and here. Okay. The angle between the legs is 90 degrees, and the legs, oh, sorry, right here. Using the ratio 2 to 3, or 2/3, DE will be 2/3 times 6. So this is another way you can do it. I showed you one way. Here's another way. It should be 2/3 of 6. It's going to be 2 to 3, so that's 2/3 of the length. 2/3 of 6 is 4. 2/3 times 6 is 4. So that's another way to get the side length of 4. And we can do the same thing with EF, and that would be 2/3 of 9 is 6. So this should be 6, and if you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The angle is 90 degrees still, just like that was in the original one. So we can connect the legs for the garden. Whoops. Oops. Clicked the wrong button, sorry. So let's go down to the bottom here. It says I can write an equation to find the lengths of the shortest side of Roseanne's garden so that, what did it say in the original example? So that the shortest side of Paulo's garden is 16. Okay, so we can do the same thing we did before, really two different ways. You can do 16 times 2/3, and which is what right here, 16 times 2/3. But how you get there, so there's 16 times 2/3, is, well, how you can find that answer, you get equals to 10 and 2/3. So same way we did the other, they did the other ones. Or you could set it up like I set it up in a proportion. You could say 2/3, and if we know Paul's is the larger one, it should be on the bottom, and we're trying to find that, which actually they did right here, just reversed. And then when you cross multiply it, you get 3x equals whatever 2 times 16 is, and 2 times 16 is 32. And then you can divide both sides by 3, and guess what? You'll get 10 and 2/3 feet. So what I'd like you to do on the second page here is read through the problem. It's very similar. You're just doing one on your own. It's a very similar situation, but different ratio, slightly different situation. So let's read it through together and get you started. Tara is making a quilt. She will use blue triangles represented by triangle GHJ. Well, here we go. GHJ. Just wanted to show the triangles at the bottom. So that one's there. She will also use red triangles that are similar to triangle GHJ. The ratio of the side lengths of the red triangles to the side lengths of the blue triangles is 4 to 3, or 4/3. Now, think about, I'm going to stop here. If it's 4/3, that means it's bigger than 1. 4/3 is bigger than 1. So it's going to get bigger. It says, draw triangle KLM to represent the red triangle. Explain how you found the side lengths. Find the length of the shortest leg of the red triangle if the length of the longest leg of the blue triangle is 4.5. So we have to do two things. We have to first find the side lengths, and then we have to figure out that second question. So why don't you start by pausing the video, try to find the side lengths of the new triangle using the ratio 4/3. So I found the lengths of the blue triangle, which isn't really blue, but I guess if you really wanted me to color it in blue, I could color it in blue, certainly. So let's color that in blue. Anyway, there's our blue triangle. The lengths were 6 and 9. And we're trying to find the lengths of a new triangle with the ratio 4/3, which means it's going to get bigger. And what I did there was I took the 4/3 and I multiplied by it each of the side lengths. 6 times 4/3 and I got 8. 9 times 4/3 and I got 12. Sorry. So my triangle base and height should be 12 and 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that out and make that we'll use black here, 12 by 8 to find triangle, what am I saying, GHJ? KLM. Okay. I'm not sure why that G is way over here. That should be way over there. That's weird. All right, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12 on the bottom. And so that'll be K, L, and then I have to have 8 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's going to be my last letter, which is M. Connect them, and I've got my new triangle, which is supposed to be the red triangle. So I will draw that as the red triangle. So it's a similar triangle. It should have the same angle measures. It does have different side lengths because it is bigger. It is 4/3 times bigger. And there's my triangle. Now, the last thing it says to do, which is right here, is find the length of the longest side of the red triangle if the length of the longest side of the blue triangle was 4.5. So we're just going to do the same thing as we did before. 4.5 times 4/3. Because it's got to be 4/3 the size, just like the other side lengths. And that'll give us our answer to this. And if you multiply it out, I just checked it on my calculator to make sure, you get 6. So my answer to this question would be 6 inches. Boom. Done. All right. If you have any questions on that, be sure to let me know. There's an overview of 22.3 homework, pages 20 or 231 and 232. See you next time.